Welcome everybody to Zoom Mastermind Week 3 as things continue to develop. And today's topic is regarding social media lead generation and Facebook advertising. We do have a special guest here today, Mr. Brett Ratkowski from Optimized Real Estate, who has found tremendous success in Facebook advertising. And he's seen the ebb and flow of the real estate industry going back to when Brett was a broke agent sleeping on his sister's couch, turned around, changed his mentality and how he can generate and convert business, and now does marketing for just shy of a dozen, am I correct, of the top 100 producers across the country?
Yep, we have 8 of them right now. Yep.
Correct. Fantastic. You guys are killing it on Facebook ads, so I look forward to your insight. So the first thing I'd like to do is open up the conversation. Brett, how have you seen success or failure of Facebook advertising campaigns change since everyone was forced to start working from home? How have you seen the trend?
Yeah, so I was like everyone, like, oh man, maybe we should pull a little bit of marketing dollars away or have our clients go a different route. And what we've actually seen is that there has been a decrease in our cost per lead because everyone else has that same mindset of like, oh, maybe I should stop marketing, right? And be conservative. And so the cost per lead is going down because there's less marketing competition, right? And what we're also seeing is a higher conversion rate and conversation rate to those leads. Why? Because more people are home. More people have the time. It's a lot easier to get people on the phone than if they're at work or whatever the case may be, right? Driving, so on and so forth. So we've seen a decrease by almost 35% in the lead cost. We have some clients that are at 29 cents per lead on their campaigns for name, phone number, and email. So 29 cents, you want 100 leads. You're not paying much for that, right? Now, so our cost per lead has gone down. Our conversation rate has gone up by 10%. And our conversation to booked appointment has gone up 15%. So what's happening is we're getting more people in our funnel. We're having more conversations with people, and people are still looking to buy and sell homes. That's the misconception. We look at 2009, 4.34 million homes were sold in arguably one of the worst of the 3 years in our history of the real estate market, right? Last year alone was 5.34 million. That's not a big, a million, but that's not a big difference with the total amount of homes that are in the United States. So people will still buy.
So let's piggyback off of that a little bit. You're seeing a change in cost per click. You're seeing a change in actual conversations that are happening. Are you having to change the marketing message, or is it more kind of an open scope that is finding more success?
Same marketing, same everything. It comes down to the objection handling, the conversation you're having with the lead on the phone or via text message is really what it comes down to. So the messaging is still the same. You're giving the reason why we're not changing that is because we're giving we're giving leads and consumers what they want. They want lists of homes. They want properties. They want to see homes, right? That's what they want. They want more options in the marketplace. Right. So the messaging hasn't changed. It's just the messaging when we're communicating with them is what's changed.
Okay. So one of the common questions I hear from agents are, the leads that I'm generating through Facebook are they're tire kickers. They're not ready. These aren't serious conversations. I can't convert any of these people. So what is the short and sweet, the best thing that you can tell an agent to start doing or changing now that will affect the ultimate outcome of their successful campaigns?
And it's crazy because that's a great question, because I'm going to give you guys the cold, hard truth, and your follow-up sucks. That's it.
I believe
all it comes down to. Your follow-up sucks. So there's 2 things you should change. One, your mindset about the leads and understanding the consumer behavior. These leads are 6 to 12 months out on average. Do you really think they want to speak to you right now? Probably not. But if you're only calling once, twice, maybe 3 times, I'm telling you right now, you'll never convert an online lead. The average lead takes 18 touches on average to have 1 conversation with. So 18 touches is not 18 conversations. So let's take a step back, right? Or 18 calls, right? So it could be text message, email, Facebook, right? They see another ad of yours, right? So just understanding, it could be a ringless voicemail. So there's a lot of different things that you can be doing. So understanding that it takes 18 touches on average to have one conversation. Online leads and Facebook leads is a pipeline builder. It is a numbers game, but without the right mindset about it, without the right follow-up system in place, you'll never convert a lead. And that's the one thing that I see time and time again is it's always, leads are never an issue. It's always the follow-up. So, and it's, like I said, it's crazy you say that because the first two slides of that I'm going to share with you when we get into it, mindset, follow-up, first two. Yeah. Outside of who I am and introducing myself.
Well, and it's interesting that you say that. You know, what we preach here especially is you can set any campaign, but it will never be successful regardless if it's social media, email, door knocking, I don't care what it is. It's your follow-up process. So I haven't asked you this ahead of time, but are you familiar at all with KV Core?
I am.
Okay. So we do, well, I'm going to mute that one. There is, everyone, please, if you have any background noise, mute yourself. I'm doing it as I see them pop up, but so it's easier for everyone to hear. Please mute yourself if you have background noise. If you need to talk to somebody next to you, need to shoo your kid away, anything like that, you know, please mute yourself. But unmute yourself to speak because we want to make this a collaborative conversation. But let's go back. So one of the biggest things that we preach, especially with KV Core, is putting in the time and the work to set up your campaigns and your follow-ups dependent on where the source is coming from. And you have all of that automated through your system. So it's so ideal for lead generation activities on Google PPC or Facebook lead generating activities to bring in those contacts and set them on your automatic touch points and tasks that our agents have just such a leg up to do. And I don't see enough doing it. So it's the action part of it, right? But when you're ready, I will let you go ahead and take control, share your screen, and we can start going through that. I'm sure that will cultivate many, many questions along the way.
Yeah, so and well, before we get into this, because now that question, if that's the issue, like we're going to get into like Facebook and stuff like that, and just an overview of why and different things that you can be doing. But if that's the issue, is the KV Core, not the KV Core, but the follow-up process, like I'll just screen share at one point, like the system that we have our clients, and you're absolutely correct. Every lead source is different. The follow-up is different for every lead source to a certain aspect. It's different with the messaging, right? That's all that's different. Mm-hmm. If they're coming from Facebook and they're looking at your message to them is, hey, check out all these homes for sale starting at 300,000, your messaging should be relevant. Hey, John, I just finished putting together your list of homes. Would you like me to send it over to you? Right? It's relevant. If they're coming in from Zillow, for example, you send a text message. Hey, Brett, just noticed that you requested some information about 123 West Main Street on Zillow. But the process is still the same. The follow-up is still the same, except for the messaging. But every lead source has to be a little bit different because they're coming in for different reasons, right? If it's a seller, you're not going to say, hey, I finished putting together your list of homes.
No, it all has to be relevant to what they're doing, and especially the lead source, the ad that they individually clicked on. If it was a rebate advertisement, a cash back, it could have been a list of homes in a certain area. It could have just been about home buyer education. You never know.
Yep. Yeah, we teach doing a webinar, right? A first-time home buyers webinar. Again, same thing. Like your message to them is going to be, hey, thanks for registering for our webinar. Here's the link to jump on, and then having, follow-up go up until that point, right? Of course, your messaging is not going to try to convert them because you're going to try to do that on the webinar, right? So yeah, just making sure that your messaging and understanding that the pre-built out stuff that is inside of these CRMs, does it work? Yes. Will it work for you? Probably not, because you are a different person. Now, I'm not saying to go in and recreate everything, but go in and recreate the message that speaks like you. Right? I see time and time again that agents get into, even using my CRM, they get into using it. And I'm like, all right, well, here's the framework. Just go adjust it a little bit so that it sounds like you, so that when you do get on the phone, it's not a completely different voice.
Yeah, and you need to know what's in those messages as well. When you leave the basic default template stuff, it's completely impersonal. It's very boilerplate, and it's not that it doesn't work. It does work, but it definitely needs to stand out. It needs to echo your personality, as you said, and use those defaults, those templates as a guide for you to change what you want to change to make it yours. You can only improve on it. You can't make it worse.
For sure, right? You can't mess it up, right? Unless you're telling people to go F themselves, like in your messaging, like you can't mess it up. It's like you said, it can't get any worse than it's already at its default settings. So
yeah, the go F yourself part is against company policy, so we'll take that out. Brett, when you're ready, go ahead and share your screen. We can go through that slideshow, and anyone feel free, please, if you have a question, unmute yourself, stop it. This is meant to be collaborative, interactive. Please don't sit there and listen to us speak for an hour, because you'll probably be there for 3 hours.
Yep. So one, just enable me to screen share. And then
you should be able to just hit share screen, and it's going to ask me.
It says host disabled, attendee screen sharing on my end. If I hit share screen. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Awesome. Well,
here we go.
You guys already know my company. So, there we go. You already gave a little introduction about myself, but I am a full-time realtor here in the Fort Lauderdale area, moving to Nashville here soon. So manage ads for 8 of the top 100 agents across the country. I've worked with over, and I was actually doing this number the other day, over 1,000 agents, whether it is in our coaching platform or our Done For You agency. I spent my last $5 on Josh Smith. That doesn't matter. Had my car repossessed in January of 2016. So I know the struggles that a lot of agents go through when it comes to getting in and not being able to grow their business, right? Imagine trying to sell a home and go show properties without a car, right? I've been through it. I understand it. And then just so you guys understand, the stuff that I teach and what we do for our clients, it's exactly what I use in my own real estate business that was able to grow a multiple 6-figure business with, and I always say Facebook and open houses, because that's all I did with those 2 things, okay? Luckily, at the time when I had my car repossessed, that's my wife on the left there, Ryan. She was the reason she let me borrow her car. I would drop her off to school, and we were only dating at the time. So that's the reason I had to say wife her up, right? Let's go back one. So I'm going to teach you 3 things today. We're going to talk about the lead generation foundation and what it's built off of, right? And understanding Facebook specifically, how to go in and know which campaign to run. We're going to talk about the targeting and how to target your perfect client, and then tactical Facebook ads, like actual ads that you can go out and promote that get and some of our best results. At the end of this, I'm also going to give you access, give you a link that you can get my top 11 Facebook ads that we use that actually, I was doing the numbers again, did 10,000 leads over the last 2 months alone. You guys can use it step-by-step on how to implement them and why they work. Okay, so you'll get access at the end. First thing I want to talk about is a mindset shift, right? Especially in today's market. Buyers are going to buy and sellers are going to sell. We are in a solution, a problem-solving business. A lot of people think, oh, we're in a person-to-person business. Yes, that is true. But we are also in a majority of the time is we are solving problems for our clients. How do we get them pre-approved? What things can they do? How do we fix this inspection report? How do we get them the lowest? Like, we are in a problem-solving solution. So we need to change our mindset to be a problem solver to why and how they can put their properties on the market today, or how they can go out and buy a property with the least amount of risk possible to them today. Because that's what they're looking for. We're in uncertain times, and uncertain times brings opportunity. You have to understand that. But we have to explain and verbalize and communicate to our potential clients. And this is how we do business. And this is how we're going to keep you safe. And this is how we're going to move things forward. So you have the least amount of risk possible to yourself and to us as well as agents, right? We don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're going out and getting COVID-19. Let's just, the elephant in the room. So just keeping that mindset that be a solution to your leads. And then understanding, like we said earlier, that follow-up is number 1 before you spend any money on any marketing. I don't care if it's Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, or leads that Jonathan is giving you from his, from the business if they do that. Number one thing you want to build out before anything is your follow-up process. There's no right or wrong follow-up system. It's the one that fits your business. And I'm here today to tell you that the thought process of having to call a lead in the first 30 seconds from Facebook specifically, or an online lead outside of Zillow, Realtor.com, like the third parties, any online lead that you generate yourself, you don't have to do that if you have the right follow-up system in place. So understanding that you don't have to stop the conversation with your client because a lead comes in, or you don't have to stop what you're doing on the computer because a new lead just came in. I've seen it time and time again. That whole, call it within five minutes, or you're 88% less likely. Yes, but that was a completely different business, right? So just understanding that the follow-up fits you and your business. For me, I called every morning from Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning. That was my time to make all my calls. I started with the new leads. I started with leads I haven't connected with. And then I finished with my follow-up. That was it every single day. Once I realized that, I was that same person, like, I got to call them. And then I called them as soon as they came in. And then I'd forget to call them anyways the next time. I didn't get them on the phone, right? And I'd forget that follow-up. Once I realized, I'm like, okay, let me systematize so I don't forget it. It was 8 to 10 every single morning. New lead came in after 10 o'clock. I didn't care about it. I did care about it, but I already had text messages that were going out to warm them up a little bit anyway. So just understanding that follow-up is number one. Build it out before you spend any money, because I promise you right now, you'll lose more money than you'll make if you don't have a follow-up process in place. Okay. So what can you expect when it comes from Facebook? With and so this first one is based off of a $500 ad spend. If you're spending just $500 a month on leads, a minimum of 100 leads per month. I'm telling you right now, you can't go spend $500 on Zillow and get 100 leads a month. And if you are, keep that zip code, right? If you are, keep that zip code forever, right?
That'd be a winner.
For sure, right? With Facebook, everyone thinks, Facebook is just buyer heavy. Buyer, buyer, buyer. No, I'm telling you right now, even with buyer heavy ads, like messaging going out to the marketplace, sellers will come. The reason why I say this is because sellers are buyers first. They're always out there looking at properties and to see if there are properties out there that they can actually purchase before they even think about putting their home on the market. Okay, so we get them early enough in the stage. The number one thing that is missed is we as agents forget to ask them, do you have a home to sell? Do you own a home, or do you rent?
You think about that. Many think about, I want to go after sellers, or I want to go after buyers. You're really going after the same people. It's about establishing your relationship and qualifying that when they come in. Okay, you're looking for purchase. Yes. Do you have a home to sell? Where are you coming from? What is the deal? You got wife popping in the back there for
yeah. Yep. We have a showing today on her property. It's on the market, so she's grabbing the pillows to stage it.
Gotcha. All right, so you can keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, give me one second. Sorry, here. Yeah, so just understanding that sellers do come from buyer ads, right? And I give this example all the time. My parents moved up to Nashville, and they ended up getting a home up in Nashville before they even put their property on the market. They were looking for I was almost a year before they even now. I told them they should have put their property on the market before, but they didn't listen to me, but it is what it is, right? So it's a perfect example. They are out there actually looking at properties. So on average, again, 8 to 12 touches. It is more along the lines of 18. Now, I always say this is a range because some are in the first 2 text messages or phone calls that you'll send out, right? So this is to get them on the phone to book an appointment. Of those conversations that you have, 6 to 26%, it depends on the market, depends on your follow-up, but these are the numbers you should fall somewhere in between there of the amount of leads that you can actually convert with the right follow-up, the right script, the right objection handlers, and understanding time frame and motivation is all that matters when you're following up with leads. You should be able to book those into phone appointments, in-person appointment, buyer consultation, so on and so forth, right? So those are some of the things. I always set this up front for you right away because I want you to understand what the leads and what Facebook ads and online leads actually bring, right? Because it's not just tire kickers. That's the biggest misconception. And again, it's because the follow-up, right? So Module 1, we're going to talk about the lead generation foundation. And this is more importantly, the different types of campaigns inside of Facebook and what you can do. And this is where a lot of individuals get really messed up at, right? This is the one thing that it's like, oh, there's so many things to select. Which one do I pick? First off, we have to understand that we are 100% in what's called special ads category, which you can see right here. You have to select this every single time because right here it says ads related to credit, employment, or housing. That's a whole new thing that Facebook rolled out because them being sued by HUD, right? Because of fair housing.
Yep.
So you have to click
and
that
no
button.
matter what, even if you're using your business page to advertise about something completely unrelated, God forbid, your business page has already been labeled as being part of special ad categories because of various keywords that you've posted, Facebook's algorithm. So whether you say so or not, they know that you're part of a special ad category. There's no getting around that.
Yep, there's some where guys have to hit the special ads category, which is crazy. But so like even if you're promoting like, hey, like recruiting for you, Jonathan, right? If you're recruiting, you have to actually they say technically you should be selecting that because it's real estate related. It's all a crock of shit.
I have to. I've been denied every time I didn't.
So there's ways around it, right? Say agents, RE, right? For real estate, like there's ways, and trust me, I've done a lot of tricks and hacks, but they do get you at some point, and you'll have.
When real estate is in the page name, you're screwed.
100% agree with it. So
look, now while you're on here, it looks like you're going into Facebook's ad manager.
Yes.
So a common question, a very common theme is, do you advise working through this? Would you advise working with a third-party company? Personally, I don't like Facebook's ad manager. I use a platform, Espresso, which I am a huge fan of. But what's your opinion on that stuff?
All your preference. It really is.
It's all personal
preference.
Gotcha.
Right? So Espresso is good. I do have an account. For me, it's hard to run lead generation ads, which is I truly do believe is what you guys should be running. For me personally, it's a little cumbersome to do that. But in the end, it's all personal preference. I actually have the new style of Facebook Ads Manager. I can go back and forth, where a lot of you only have the old version, which was really hard to get. Not hard, you really had to know what you're doing, but they really made it super clean and easy on the new one, which they are starting to roll out to everyone. Why they didn't do it just all at once, I don't know. But yeah, it's the new version is a little bit easier to roll with. But again, it's all personal preference to what you're doing. I know there's some CRM and website companies like, oh, you can create your own ad in here. What you want to understand is that companies like Espresso, which integrate directly and you can do all the targeting and different things like that, that's all that matters. Doing something where it's like, hey, here's this ad I'm gonna create, and then we're just gonna send it over to Facebook and it's gonna create an ad. It's not gonna generate you much, right? You're not getting the most out of Business Manager, okay? So that's the biggest thing you wanna understand. Now we wanna understand, when it really comes down to it, what type of campaigns are we running? This is the foundation that is built, right? And the question here, and this, everyone misses this, what is your marketing objective? Any marketing campaign always starts with the end result. What is it that we want? What is it that what action do we want those consumers to take and to give us? Right? And so a lot of people don't even realize that this question's there. Right? So these campaigns, these objectives are very, very specific to what it is that is going to happen. And Facebook is very good at this. So we'll start with awareness. Awareness is brand awareness and reach. That is just getting your ad out to the masses. No optimization, nothing like that. All it is for you to be seen by as many people as possible. That's it. Now, keep in mind, the setup of the ads is very similar. So you may look, oh, there's a link that they can click. Facebook doesn't optimize it for the people that are going to take action on these ads here. It is solely to put it out to as many people as possible. The middle is consideration, right? So consideration is people that would click on your ad and maybe do something, okay? And so you have traffic, you have engagement, right? You have app installs none of you guys would use, video views, lead generation, and messages. If I was on Facebook and I was hovering, there'd be a little eye, like an information button. It'll tell you exactly what this campaign is going to do. So for example, traffic is to drive as many people to a landing page as possible. That's it. Drive traffic to a landing page. No actions, no nothing. You can optimize it for landing page views, which is people staying on there for at least 3 seconds. Okay. Engagement is simply to get, this is the new day boosted post, right? To get people to engage with your ad, with your post that you create, to get people to like, comment, share. App installs is what it is. Video views is to get as many people to watch your video as possible. They're going to put it in front of people that are most likely to watch your video. Lead generation, my favorite, and this is one you all should be running, is essentially what it is, to generate leads. Now with Facebook, the reason why I like this so much is because everything's done on Facebook's platform. Name, email, and phone number is auto-populated from their Facebook profile. So you get a much better quality of data. Right? Yes, you're still going to get bad numbers. You're still going to get wrong numbers. They can still edit the number and their name and email and stuff like that. But majority of people do not touch it. They just, they trust Facebook, so they're going to give the information. So that is my favorite because one, it's the lowest cost per lead. It's the least amount of friction. And you're generating a lead before you even send them to your website. The goal for us is to grow a pipeline, right? To have more people to communicate with.
To piggyback off that, Brett, so your suggestion for anything really, what we're trying to do as agents, we're trying to generate leads, right? So lead generation would be your recommendation, and you'd be suggesting to use Facebook's contact forms as opposed to taking them to like a landing page or to a separate website. Use the Facebook contact form. It's easy, it's reputable, people are comfortable because they're still on Facebook, but then that can then import and start your automated campaigns, your text messaging, all that kind of stuff, exporting from Facebook, which
Absolutely.
KV Core can definitely do. You can do all of that through our system so far.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%. Now, the only thing with KV Core that is the one thing that I don't like is if you are using lead generation, you cannot change the opt-in on your website. So when they do enter that information and they do get sent over to the KV Core site, the front end site, the search, the home search that you're sending them, so on and so forth, they will have to do a double opt-in after a couple clicks, right? So just understanding that. So that may be something, but that's not the end all be all. And I'm going to go into the next one here. Messages is to get people to message you on Facebook, right? Some people use ManyChat. It's just another tool. People that sell the messenger bot, you can do the same with text messages. So, it is what it is. Conversion is the next one, right? That is where you would send them to your KV Core site. They would pop around and they would enter their name, phone number, email, and KV Core would capture that. The website would capture their information. And then the same thing, they would create an account essentially, and your follow-up would start. Now, with that being said, they do both work and they're both pretty much the same cost per lead, right around the same cost per lead, sometimes a little bit cheaper for lead generation because of the least amount of friction. You're going to get more data here. It's more user-friendly for conversions. So if you are one of those that are all about consumer, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like just making it easier for the consumer, right? Conversion may be the one that you want to do, but just understand that you're going to get a lot of wrong. Really, you are going to get a lot of wrong phone numbers and emails because they're manually putting those in. With conversion, you'll get the Mickey Mouses of the world, the Donald Ducks, right? With lead generation, it's auto-populated. Very, very few do we ever see them putting in,
it's more credible information when you go through those auto, the credential logins. When anytime there's an option for someone to sign in by Facebook or Google, for example, you get much more credible contact details. So using Facebook's contact form definitely alludes to that.
Yep, absolutely. And then catalog sales and store traffic, you're never going to use those, obviously, because we're not e-commerce. Jonathan, for store traffic, if you were driving a lot of people and you had a lot of people coming into your offices, store traffic could be one, because what it would do is it put a pixel on their phone, and when they walk into your store, it would actually anywhere in like a vicinity of your storefront, it would calculate that as store traffic, right? So there's pixels.
I had not considered that. That's a good observation. We'll have to write that one down.
Yep. So that is one. It's a lot more in depth to build out, but once it's built out, I mean, you could really, see the people that are coming into the store, into the office, right? It's not just, it is traffic, right? Bringing people to a brick and mortar store. Like a lot of restaurants and stuff like that would run store traffic. So that is essentially the foundation. This here is the foundation of Facebook that a lot of agents miss, and just a lot of marketers in general. So before I move on to the next, is there any questions here about this that we have?
There was one question that popped up in the chat here. She may not have a mic. Gloria asked, are the leads that come in verified anything across any type of do not call list?
Nope, because they are opting in.
Okay. So it is not required because they are opting in for contacting.
I'm not an attorney, right? So I'm going to put that out there first. I am not an attorney, but what I do understand and what I have been told is that yes, they are opting in. Now you do have the option, you can add in a checkbox that says you are opting in, and of opting in, you're allowing us to text message and call you if you want that extra step.
I will also say I'm not an attorney. However, that does give us a leg to stand on when they are sending us contact information. For example, someone contacts you off your website. You don't have to go cross-reference that person. You're not initiating the contact. You're responding to the request. So I wouldn't be so concerned about it there.
Yep, neither would I. Perfect. Good.
All right. Any questions about this initially, the initial campaigns and build up and setup? For all the questions you guys asked me, I would certainly think that there would be more questions right now. Oh, I got one. Brooke, what does A/B split testing mean, and how does that apply?
A/B split testing, if it's done on Facebook, just ignore it. Do your own split testing. So split testing is taking, and this is what I always recommend, taking your ad, creating an ad, and having one thing being tested, whether it's an image or the audience or the ad copy is a little bit different. One thing. So A/B split testing is taking two creatives or two audiences with the same ad, or maybe the same audience with two different ads, and seeing which one performs the best. Split testing it to make sure. So Facebook, their A/B split test, I don't personally like it because you'll never get a true 50-50 split in ad spend. So what I do is, like, when I'm split testing stuff, is I create, let me go back. I create an ad. What is going on here? There we go. I create an ad, whether it's lead generation, conversion, traffic, whatever it is. And I use what's called campaign budget optimization. So that means that my budget is set on the campaign level, meaning that campaign can spend $100 if I set it, right, per day. Then I create two ad sets. Maybe, for example, for this case, each ad set is different, right? There's, ad set to realtors and realtor interest, and ad set to realtor jobs, right? Those are things that are inside of Facebook's targeting. And then my ad on each one of those ad sets is the same, right? Because you have your campaign, you have your ad set, which is who you're targeting, the placements that you're targeting, where you're targeting people, and then you have your ad itself, like the creative. You have those three pieces of Facebook marketing. So you have your ad. I would have two different ad sets, and then each one of those ad sets has the same exact ad. And what I would do is then create a minimum or a maximum budget for each one of those, and it would be 50-50, right? $50 maximum, $50 maximum. So it cannot spend more than $50 on each one of those, and that is how you get it to be a true 50-50 split. So if you are trying to do that, remember one item, because here's the thing: if it's a completely different ad set or two ad sets with completely different copy, image, or video, you have no idea what worked. Right? So A/B split testing, absolutely. Do it on your own. Do it manually. Don't use their system unless you do. It is easy to set up. I just personally am like, I want true stats, and that's how I do it.
So I got one more question here before you move on, and I'll answer it really quickly, but you may be able to piggyback and give more information.
Yep.
So first, this is from Manal. If lead generation is used as a category and that data does not integrate into a CRM that they use, does it create some type of output or export file? And I'm going to go ahead and say I don't believe so. I believe you can export a spreadsheet. However, it's more beneficial to do it as an on-demand integration, which you can establish with something like a Zapier, interacting Facebook contact forms to whatever CRM if it doesn't automatically integrate. Anything to add on top of that?
Nope, that's exactly it. Zapier or PieSync, depending on the CRM that you're using. Conversion.
What was that second one called?
PieSync, PIESYNC.
Gotcha.
Save those two. And then you also have, if that, I forget the name, but if you can elaborate on what CRM, Minal, if you can elaborate what CRM you're using, and I can probably tell you what you'd have to use.
Yeah, for KB Core, I believe it automatically integrates. Facebook advertising will integrate directly into KB Core automatically.
See,
if
that's
not,
something new.
Zapier.
It used to be Zapier, yeah.
Yeah, and it's through Zapier, I believe, but you set it up through that platform. She is using Wise Agent.
Wise Agent, you can use PieSync or Zapier. I would.
Either one.
So it's easier. It's 100% easier to use Zapier. It's an easier setup, but you can do those, yeah.
And then the next one here is, you mentioned this at the beginning that the 100 leads per month was with your ad spend of $500 per month. What would be your recommendation for someone kind of getting started, wanting to start to generate leads through social media outlets and Facebook without committing to $500 a month? Where would you start to see the impact?
Spend whatever you can. Something's better than nothing. If you can only spend $100, spend $100. Right? If you can only spend 50, spend 50. So, my thing is what you're doing by spending that money and not, one, you have to commit, right? I always tell everyone, when you commit to something, give it 12 months, especially in the real estate. Right now, obviously be conscious of, what you're actually spending and how much you're spending and what your cost per acquisition is, right? If your cost per acquisition is more than your commission, maybe that's not a good lead source, right? You are going to lose money. So even if it's a break even, like maybe you should get rid of that or fix something on the back end, right? AKA follow up. So my thing with it is when you're putting money into Facebook, you're not only generating leads, you guys, and this is the missed part, is you're creating an invisible list. You're creating a list of people that are starting to get to know, like, and trust you. You're owning your own data, right? Meaning you could go in and look at like, hey, how many men and women, what age range are they that talk to my ad? So you can essentially run ads and be like, all right, this is my ideal client, this person, based off the data you're generating. When you pay companies like Zillow, Realtor.com, and I'll show you at the end, like Zillow is spending millions on Facebook advertising. For those of you that think, oh, all their traffic comes from their website and their app, bullshit. And I'll prove it to you because you can go to Facebook ads library and see every single ad that they're running in every single market right now. Right? And I did this yesterday on a call and they're like, what? That is insane. And I scrolled for like 30 seconds. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ads that they are running to drive traffic to their website. Why do you want them owning that data? You should own the data yourself, right? And so for that, like I said, 100%, anything that you could spend is better than nothing. Now,
if I had a nickel for how many agents would ever ask, Zillow gets these millions and millions of browsers every month. How could I get just one little piece of that? We're talking about it.
That's it. All right.
I
Facebook
will stop interrupting.
No, you're good. I love it. It's in the end, let me just do this, right? I'm gonna go off cusp real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quick and share it again.
Here comes some inside information, guys. Inside information.
Everyone talks. Why is it doing? Can you see my desktop?
Yeah, we got your desktop.
Oh, here.
Mac user.
I'm on. Cool. There we go. Let's go to, if you just type in Facebook, this is the easiest way to get it. Facebook ad library. It is right here. You can spy on your competition. So let's go. This is the one I show the most. People are paying for this. Realtor.com, where is it? Local expert. Look at these shitty ads. Helping you master the market. You're a local expert. Can I curse here? Right? Like,
it's already there.
Yeah. Who the fuck is going to ever click on this?
Oh my God.
Like, these people are paying for this shit, this garbage. I'm telling you, everyone on this call can create a much better ad than this.
Are these ads that are done through opting into like Realtor Pro, Realtor.com Pro, and like Premier Agents and stuff like that? Brooke is raising her hand like I do it.
I'm a local expert.
Oh,
it's a year contract, so it's happening until next November. Whether
let me ask you this. 100% be honest. How many leads have you gotten from the local expert?
None from the local expert. I get some from the zip codes that I paid for.
Because here's the difference.
I didn't know how to do this well on Facebook. That's why I'm like, I have 17 million questions. I want to get your number and pay you for a private session.
So in here, like Tanya, right? God bless her soul. They're just sending it to whatever, they're sending it to what is this? What is this shit? Who is ever going to just click that button? There's no value. There's no call to action. There's nothing. So yeah, you're going to get people to click on the ad. Don't get me wrong. I guarantee you they can show you stats. Oh, people are clicking on it.
I think you get brand recognition from it if you do it in your farm area or whatever. I think that's what you get out of it personally.
Can you go into those and edit them and kind of tweak them a little bit to make them a little bit more better, or are they locked like that?
This is them running the ads for you, right?
So that's a special program from Realtor.com. You pay them to do it. You have no control over it.
Yep.
But it goes
no control.
No, you have some. You have
just the link. I think
options on how you design it on Realtor.com.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't mean to call anyone out here, but I'm just going to call a spade a spade. So one of my mentors, Frank Kern, he calls this he would call this very bad marketing, but he uses it relatively bad marketing. Like when he does research, right? So we talk about, that's just one example. If I was to go into Zillow, Zillow does a very good job. Let's just go in Zillow here. They do a very good job because guess what? They drive it. They'll give you these are just driving traffic back to their site, right? Just downloading an app. But let me get into one that's just so you guys can understand this, get the Zillow app. These are just blogs that they're driving to, which is just, again, creating the know you, like, you, trust you, getting people back. You could see how much I'm scrolling and there are, here we go. When they get in there, and I always tell this, single property, single listings, one listing is the best converting ad ever, right? Meaning you have a listing, promote it on Facebook, right? Because everyone wants it. It's gonna be your lowest cost per lead. This is what they do. And this is a conversion ad. So they're running ads, they click on the ad and it takes them to the actual listing. Now they have the option to, contact the agent, right? Get more information, right? See different things, request a showing, right? And still, for me personally, if I was an agent, this is not a landing page I'd be driving them to, but it's better than what you saw, right? So just keep in mind that they are, all this money that is being spent, it's not just people coming because they want to come to Zillow. They are driving traffic there. So that was a little off cusp. Let me share my screen again.
That's okay. It's good information. I'm sure we're all learning from this. Brooke, you had another question. Go ahead.
I do. So there's some options in the ad manager about budget optimization, like ad scheduling and delivery type. What are your recommendations about those?
Yep. So I'll pull it up just so everyone can see it because I don't have it in.
Yeah. Maybe can we go through could we create an ad and see the whole process, and you can share your wisdom about the decisions along the way? That'd be cool to me.
Maybe we could set that up for another time because we're gonna be over.
Okay.
Yeah, I can create a video.
I'll
for you
pay
guys.
you to talk to you. Can I get your number?
At the end on the ad copy swipe file, you'll have a You'll get the ad copy, and at the second page, you'll have an option to book a call for sure if you guys want to. Again, there's no cost in that. So
Brett's doing this out of the goodness of his heart because he wants to continue to spread and help everybody be educated about this. But he will be available for after the fact.
Yep.
And
So
I know he's real. I know several people. I know several people have interacted with other social media marketing companies and had very bad experiences or been ripped off. And I can vouch from personal relationships. I actually know Brett's wife from high school.
Yep.
So going way back, if you have a problem, I know where he lives.
Sure do. So to answer your question, is this what you're talking about, the campaign budget here? So you have budget, you have daily budget, and you can, let me go to switch the guided.
Can I, I'll share the.
So right here, bid strategy, is this what you're talking about? That's what your question?
Yes.
Yeah, bid strategy, always leave it lowest cost.
Okay, and there was a time option.
So that is daily budget or lifetime budget. So if you hit life.
She was referring more to the
scheduling.
time when ads are, when the ads are going to be presented.
So you can only do that on a lifetime budget. Okay, so you see here, I can select it here, but if I go to daily budget, I can't select it. So lifetime budget is saying, all right, I'm going to, over the lifetime of this ad, spend $700, $150, whatever. Then yes, you can run a schedule and say, all right, I want to run it on a schedule. I don't know why it's not loading, but it should.
It normally pulls up a calendar dropout, right?
It'll pull a calendar with, it'll pull up a calendar with actual times too, right? So days and times by the hour. So you can say, hey, if my ads are only performing from Monday through Wednesday from 7 to 9, then you run it in those 2 hours. Now, here's my take. You're going to miss a lot of leads if you don't generate leads after hours. In today's market, it's a little bit different, but when everyone starts going back to work, I'm telling you, from 5 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning is when you'll generate most of your leads. So the least amount that you can play around with this, I always, and for our clients, and we teach, just use the daily budget. Let it always run, because what's going to happen is the ad is going to collect more data. It's going to optimize. Facebook's algorithm is 10 billion times smarter than we are. And let it do its thing, right?
Maybe not 10 billion. You're exaggerating. At the most, 1 billion.
At the most, right? It's very smart. And that's a number I just came up with. So it may be only 10 times smarter than us, but it is smarter, right?
Now, it's very important. I've heard back maybe a year ago, it's very important when you are creating this and you're setting your budget on your ad spend right now. What you're setting is a daily budget, but you also need to make sure you're capping things as far as a time limit, how long it's going to run, or a complete campaign lifetime budget. Otherwise, it will just keep racking on and you don't know when it's going to stop. It will just go, and then you're going to get a huge bill from Facebook.
Yes, the daily budget does not stop until you turn it off. Right? It won't. So so you can also set, but you can limit the amount of spend Facebook will in the settings, in your business settings. You can set how much, like if you want all the ads to shut off when it hits $500 for the month, then you'd have to go in and reset it though, right? So for us, what I always tell everyone is always base your daily budget, your total daily budget for all ads based off of the amount that you are willing to spend every month. Meaning, if you want to spend $500 a month, it's roughly $16.67 per day. Facebook will not spend more than $16.67 per day. And I always put 15 just to be conservative, right? So it will not spend more than $500 at that, right? So just be conscious of, if you want to put $25 and you're like, oh, I only want to spend $300, but you never go back in, Facebook's going to take your money, right? They're going to promote your ad. So yes, definitely be aware of that. If you are conscious, then definitely use the lifetime budget and say, hey, this specific campaign, this specific ad is only going to be, $500 or whatever that amount that you want to spend. Oh, I think
You may continue. I think we're out of questions.
cool. Awesome. All right, where's the present button? Cool. All right, so the next part is, so the targeting, right? And this is that ad set piece. That is just so you guys understand what I'm talking about. Why can't I get out of that? That is, right, you have your campaign, you have your ad set, which is your target, right? Where you're driving traffic, right? So what location? So it's always your placements, your interests, your budget, different locations, right? Age, gender. Now, when we're selecting the two things we have to understand is when we're selecting the housing, this age, gender, and location will change. Meaning, and we'll get into that, you will not be able to pick 30 to 55 years old. It's always going to be 18 to 65 plus. It's going to be everyone. And your gender, you're not going to be able to select men or women. It's always going to be the same. Now, here's a trick. You can type in only English, or maybe you work a Spanish market. You can type in Spanish speaking, Spain, whatever language. If you are, if you deal with a Brazilian clientele and only speak Portuguese, it will drive the ads to those people that speak Portuguese, right? So you can, and Facebook will allow you to work languages. Okay, so if you work a market and that is who you want to target, those specific languages, you can do that. The next is your detail targeting, and I think this here is the easiest, right? And I'll get into how you do this. So again, remember age and gender. Age and gender, you cannot change. The location is now 15-mile radius of the city or the pin drop that you put on in here. You used to be able to do a specific address or a zip code or down to a 1 mile radius, right? So somebody asked earlier, can we take the, and I love how you put that in there. I was like, what the hell's going on? So taking those ads from Realtor.com, for example, and creating them in our own farm market. Yes, but even Realtor.com is doing a 15-mile radius, so it's not specifically your farm market. It's going to be a city. It's going to be a 15-mile radius of that. Now, so you can only do a 15-mile radius, and I'm going to show you the easiest and most simple way to find what interest Facebook will tell you them, right? And so these are some examples: Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com, mortgage loans, loan calculator, right? So you can go in here and under detailed targeting, literally, this is the trick. Don't overthink this. Is type in Zillow as an interest, okay? Not an employer, not Premier Agent. Zillow by itself, hit interest. They have this suggestions button. It will give you every single real estate related interest that is inside of Facebook right here. Don't select every single one of them. Pick 2 or 3, maybe 4, okay? Then on your next audience, pick 2 or 3, maybe 4 for another one and test them against each other. Another
hey, Brett,
thing
going
is,
back to locations, we had a question about marketing to international clients. I believe it defaults up there under United States, but you should be able to target specific countries or say outside of United States. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely. So you can come in here under locations and type, Canada, right? And you can go down to like the actual city, right? So if we're in Toronto, right, you can do, maybe people from Wuhan are trying to move to to Florida. I don't know, right? You can type in whatever cities that you want in any country, right? And so here is the issue with that, and I'm going to set the expectation up front, is that you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. So if we're trying to target, and if they want to comment what city that they're in, let's call it Melbourne, Australia, right? And we had to do a 15-mile radius because it's still, it may be different there, but it's roughly going to be the same. And we took off United States. And they're not going to have Zillow, so this may change a little bit. Or maybe they do have Zillow, I don't know. let's just keep it open. So we're trying to put ads in front of 3.9 million people, right? If we just left it all open targeting, 3.9 million people to find maybe 1% that'll actually come and buy a home in somewhere in Florida, right? So really, you have to really get specific. If you do truly want to go the whole targeting people that are looking, that are from different countries, I would absolutely highly recommend Google and YouTube ads, because you can get specific on actual keyword searches. Now, understand it is going to be more expensive though. So that's just my expectation. If you're thinking that you can use these locations to try to find people from outside of other countries, yes, you can. It's just trying to find a needle in a haystack. And I always talk about, like, same thing if it's from people are coming from New York to Florida. Try to find a needle in a haystack. How many people actually come from New York every single year to buy a home, right? That actually can afford it, right? As a second home or whatever. So that would be, that's just my 2 cents on that. So so the location, for example, you used to be able to type in, you still might be able to type in an address or federal, like this is my office. So you can type in an address, but it will have to be a 15
and do a radius from there.
Yep. So you can do a specific property address and do a 15-mile radius.
I've
right?
seen that to be
also,
very effective for marketing open houses or things along those lines, when you have like a Facebook event marketing and doing boosts towards these locations within 15 miles.
Yep. Because if I type in Fort Lauderdale, it's going to give me the center of Fort Lauderdale on the map. And maybe, like we have clients that are in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and sometimes it's like right on that border. So what you can actually do too is, for us on the West Coast, depending on, where you're at in Florida, but if we can actually drop a pin, right? And we could say, all right, well, maybe I only want to do a 15-mile radius, and I can put that right there, right? Or I can move it, right? I can.
Have you seen any direct correlation to the success of ad spend if you do a city versus zip code, or radius versus specific city names altogether? What have you seen affect the actual effectiveness of the affection?
It's all the same. It's all the same, to be honest. You're going to get the same results. It really comes down to, the biggest thing is this right here is missed a lot. Like this location, people living or recently in this location. You want to just target people living in this location, right? That's the biggest thing. That we always set this, because if we're trying to be that digital mayor of our market, like you want to only be targeting people that live in that market, right? In that 15-mile radius. Now, if you left it as people living or recently, you could get tourists, and you'll get a lot of tourists. You could get people that just work in that area that maybe want to live there. So it just, whatever fits your preference. There's no right or wrong. Just don't pick the last two. Don't pick traveling or recently in this location. One of the first two up here. It's also going to default to living in or recently travel or in this location. So just understand that. Then again, so the next part, targeting. This is what for those of you that do go run ads, this is what I want you to understand. You can leave this blank. And here's why. Facebook is looking at your ad copy. Facebook is reading the text that you put on your ads. Their machine learning is reading your copy. They're reading it for the algorithm. They're reading it to approve or disapprove your ads. They're reading it to put relevant content in front of the consumer. And I always say this, if you have Facebook Messenger in your phone, they are listening to you 100%. Yeah, they are listening. And it's not a bad thing, but I'm sure you've had a conversation with somebody about some sort of topic or some sort of product or something like that. And maybe at some point it has popped up on your newsfeed. That doesn't mean that you went to their website to search it. You were just talking about it. Perfect example I give is my wife and I were here with my best friend and his fiance, and we were talking about Gatorade Zero. We're talking about how, like, he drinks a lot of Gator. I'm like, bro, like, have you tried Gatorade Zero? It tastes exactly the same. Doesn't really have that sugar-free taste, but like you could cut back on your sugar. I'm like, first, kid you not, my wife's scrolling Instagram, boom, a Gatorade Zero ad appeared. Facebook is getting really good at trying to try to serve you as relevant of ads as possible, right? Because they want you to continuously use Facebook. They want to give you the best experience. So they're reading your ad copy, they're reading all that. So if they see, and this is where using cities, the city that you're targeting, homeowners, buyers, if you're looking to buy a home in this city, right? Using keywords, because Facebook is reading that, their machine learning is reading that. And so understanding that if you just left this blank, what it's going to do, and we've been testing this, we're actually seeing a little bit better of result when it comes to just leaving the detail targeting blank. A little bit, depending on the location. It's still out in there, but definitely test it out for your ads of just leaving it blank. And let Facebook deliver the ads to the people it thinks, because in the end, all of us need real estate. All of us need a roof over our home, right? So just keep that in mind. And the location's back. Next thing is your placements, Facebook or Instagram only, and only the feed, right? So just go in here and select. This is just a little tool trick I'm gonna teach you. The why is because eyeballs are on the news feed. People are scrolling on their app, right, on their phone. So just keep that in mind. Any questions there?
I've seen a lot of success on the audience network as well, more than I expected, to be honest with you.
So audience network, for those that don't understand audience network, that is like Google, like you see, like you're on a third-party site and an ad pops up right there. And yeah, so we use that for a lot of retargeting stuff for sure. Again, there's no right or wrong way, so definitely test it out for sure.
So where I found success on that was not using the targeted audiences. That was more for uploading a custom audience or a contact list. Yep. And the audience network was good on those because they already recognize the brand. So when they're seeing it outside, it's not so much about the message. It's just the name echoing in your ear. It's like a friend whispering, you should go here, you should go here, constantly as you're browsing around.
Yeah.
We had one question regarding audiences. Someone excludes, this is from Heather in Colorado, actually. I don't think I told you, we have agents from both Florida and Colorado on here. Her question was, she always excludes other real estate brands. Should this be done? Like saying, not interested in a Remax or a KW.
So
with the special ad categories, I don't think you can do that.
That's what I was just about to say.
Interest.
No. So with special ads category, you cannot exclude anyone ever. So if you are excluding somebody, it's because you're not using the ad category, and they will ban your account.
Eventually.
Yep.
Yeah, you might be able to rob a liquor store, but it still eventually catch you when you rob one.
They will catch you, right? So understanding that, here's the thing. Realtors can go out and see your ads anyways. Most of them don't know that they can with the ad library that I showed you earlier, but most of them can. And if they are a good agent and they are what I call funnel hacking, because I do it all the time, I'll just go in and search a competitor or search other agents and see what's out there in the market just to get ideas. They can see it, right? So for me, I haven't seen any. I mean, you'll eventually get some people to put their information in your ad, like be that asshole that'll piggyback off your ad because you're spending money. Be like, hey, if you want to see this property, contact me here. You just delete it. So I wouldn't pay any too much attention to it, me personally. But to each his own. You know, there's no right or wrong way to it. But yeah, if you're using ads category, you cannot exclude.
She did mention that it was before the special ad categories, so it's about trying to get back into things and understanding how it works.
Yeah.
You were talking about placements.
Yep. So placements, if you want your money where the eyeballs are, it's definitely the feeds, right? What you were saying, that custom audience, that list of past clients or agents, if you're doing recruiting, right? That is 100%. That's what we call retargeting, right? You have a list of people that may know, like, and trust you already, and it's just trying to get them to do business with you. And that, yes, I would absolutely do. I would do it everywhere. Blast that shit everywhere. Marketplace, like, let everything run. Let Facebook just
stories, everything. Let it roll.
Yep. Absolutely. Cool. Any questions here before we move on? Awesome.
Yeah, hold on one second, please.
Go ahead.
So are you saying that the automatic placement does that for you? It blasts it everywhere, or you need to go in and handpick?
No, it does. If you leave automatic placements, it's going to, wherever it can promote your ad, it'll put it there.
Okay, I think I'm misunderstanding what you're saying about like your people and stuff like that. It's still going to hit your people, your sphere and stuff like that, or
So that's
something you would do.
Yeah, your sphere is a custom audience, so you'd have to, like, if you have a list, right, an email list, you'd have to upload that into Facebook's what they call custom audiences. And then, yep, and then right here you can select. Right here it says custom audiences. You can select the custom audience. Right, in this case, we would have to create it as a special audience, right? But you have a special audience. Okay, so then you would select that special audience, which is a custom audience. There's nothing different, right? It's just not going to show you.
There's two ways that they're found. So let's say you have your CRM with your list. Let's say there's 1,000 contacts in there. Okay, you have an email and a phone number for all these different people. When you export that contact list and upload it to Facebook, they're looking to match either the email or the phone number with an active user account. When they do that, that is the user that is being marketed to. It's not by name, it's by the email and the phone number. So if their Facebook account is not related to that email or that phone number, it's not going to market to them. I'm sure many of you have seen the location advertisements on Facebook in one way or another as a company for recruiting. And we use these audiences. We take your information and relative information from the MLSs, et cetera, and use those email addresses and phone numbers to try and match up to users on Facebook to directly hit people. That's kind of the example.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, and you can do it. So
Amazing.
custom audience could be website traffic too. It could be somebody that watched a video of you. I mean, there's a lot of different things. I can go on for days on how you can set those up. So that's, again, another call. But yeah, so custom audiences is where I would use the automatic placements. Now, if it is what we call cold traffic, like you're promoting to generate leads, you can still select automatic placements, and then whoever fits in here, this targeting that you select, is going to be who they deliver that ad to wherever they can, right? It could be off Facebook. It could be in messengers, in the newsfeed, on the little side piece of the newsfeed on the desktop. It could be a lot of different places. All right, so I went over that. Module 3 is different ads. So this is tactical Facebook ads. Module is just essentially what type of ads that you can run, right? You can create a list of all the homes for sale in your market. You can create I love using median price point. We stopped really doing under and just doing starting at the median price point. So your median price point is not your average price point. Why? Is because it's actually lower than your average price point. Okay, so just understanding that, usually in most markets it is, because your average is going to take, hey, here's all the sales volume that we did and divided by the number of homes that were sold. With your median, it's where is the majority of the buyers coming from, at what price point, right? That's what we want. So the median price point is where most of them are. Just listeds, my favorites. My favorite. Coming soon, open houses, home value, PDFs. Like these are different lead generation types. Then you have branding, right? So you have, I teach doing lead generation up front, getting a hand raiser, and then retargeting them over and over and over with content to get them to know, like, and trust you, because we know that their time frame is anywhere between 30 days to 12 months or more. So we teach, get them in your pipeline, start having those conversations with them, and then let them see your content over and over and over and over and over again. Because here's the thing, it's easier, it's cheap to get a lead, and it's even cheaper to do branding to a small custom audience. If you were to try to build an audience to then target them to generate a lead, you got to spend hundreds of dollars to build up that audience to then get them to give you your information. So it's kind of, I say ass backwards, because let's get hand raisers, people that are interested in real estate, and then promote content to them. Now, that doesn't mean, that's just me, that doesn't mean that you can't do it the flip, right? Do some branding, then lead generation. So different things that you can do for branding are community videos. Again, videos for just listed, just sold, right? You can do a reason to live in an area. You can do interview, different parks and go to different businesses. You can do, my favorite is how affordable is a city to live in, right? You can do like the community. You could be like, hey, what are the top features of this community and why you should live here? Different school districts, neighborhoods in, here are all the homes for sale in this school district. right? So just understanding that you are a market expert, and that is what the branding ads would do. And then here's some, one thing I want to touch on is, yes, you can do targeting, but your ad copy is always what is getting them to click out. Next to, first it's the image, and then the second thing is your ad copy. So what is ad copy? And that is the written copy, the written text on your ad. So ad copy is a very specific piece of content that is designed to get the reader to respond or take action, right? To take action in whatever that you're doing. It also will help you increase conversion rates, meaning that lead to, I almost want to put my dog on my lap. No. I was like, oh, what's popping up over there? So take your, the goal is to get them from, hey, here they are, to actually click on the lead, link, and then give you their information, right? So it'll increase conversion rates from ad to lead. Good ad copy will always start with a powerful headline, right? Calling out your audience, right? It'll also appear to a fear or a desire, right? Or to inspire curiosity. In our case, most of the time it's fear or desire. Sometimes it'll get people, oh, I'm curious about this house, right? I was just looking. That's curiosity. They were just curious about that ad or that property. But fear or desire is the fear of missing out, right? Or, which I'll get into, maybe they're upside down in their mortgage. Maybe they're in default or about to go into foreclosure. Their desire could be, going from my house is 1,000 square feet to a 1,500 square foot home, right? So just understanding that your ad copy is what portrays that to them, okay? And then it is vital to take the key motivating factors of the consumer into consideration when you're writing ad copy. So making sure that you're starting with, hey, is it leads or am I trying to drive traffic? Whatever, that's the objective. Then the next step is, all right, so what is the customer avatar? What are they looking for? What do they really want? And then you have that ad copy speak to that avatar, and then you target that avatar. Okay, so just understanding that. So here's some examples of houses, all right? Are you falling behind on a mortgage payment? Again, fear, right? All these are fear, right? Are you nearing foreclosure? It's a fear, right? Here are some attention city home buyers, right? Looking for a move-in ready home at, at an affordable price.
Now,
The city.
I see your ad that says at open bracket city. So you're using dynamic ads for these. Am I correct?
No, these are just examples. So you would fill that in there, right?
Okay.
I wish Facebook was that good, but yes, you could do that in your email. I wish Facebook was that good, but it's a 10. Me, I don't know why we put that in there, but it would say attention city, Fort Lauderdale home buyers, right? And you don't have to have that attention. It could just be, are you in Fort Lauderdale looking for a move-in ready home at an affordable price, right? In the most desirable location.
Yeah, so you're repeating the city frequently as it will integrate more on the ad copy scrub from Facebook. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and
right.
So you have a question here about sample advertisements, sample ad copies. Is this what we're talking about here, or is that something separate that we're talking about?
Nope, we have on the next page. I have it here. Q&A, and they can go to go.optimizerealestate.com. They're going to be a little bit different.
Another question. Mm-hmm. I think I opened up a can of worms here. The question is, what is the dynamic ad hubbubaloo?
Oh shit! Just ignore what he said. Dynamic would be
a very confusing aspect.
Yeah. Dynamic is essentially if it was, hey, you put this piece of code in anytime somebody came in from a specific city, it would show, hey, Fort Lauderdale home buyers, right? It's showing. It's dynamic. It's always changing based off of an action. That's it.
Right. But it gets very complex at that point.
Yes, sure does. So we'll open a Q&A. If you guys want the ad copy swag file, just go to go.optimizerealestate.com/leads. Just put your name and email in there. It will email it out to you. So you won't get it on that thank you page. It will email that out to you. And that'll be
perfect.
Top ads, why to use the ad copy, why it works. I mean, it'll be, I think it's like 15 or 20 pages, something like that. So.
Okay. So guys, Brett, thank you so much for your time. I know it was both informative and engaging. are there any questions that we want to hit with Brett at this current moment? Brett, I assume by putting in that contact form on the ad copy swipe that you will have their contact information and can reach out. Would you mind including on here or typing in on here your email or phone number in case somebody would like to schedule or ask you additional follow-up questions, talk after the fact?
Yeah, let me type it in here. So, oh, come on now.
I have a question.
Yep.
I used to use a program called Listing to Leads for all my landing pages and all of that stuff. Do you like that program or do you recommend something different?
So I actually used to use it myself.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good platform. I do like how you can automatically create stuff, right? Based off of Hub List, if they still do it, or List Hub, I think it's called.
List Hub, yeah.
Yeah. So I do like it. If you're seeing good results with it, stick with it. If not, then it's just another tool. I do like it because it's very clear and concise in what they have. So and I'll just show you, like, so you can create your own things and not have, it doesn't have to be. So I have again, I'm not telling you, I don't care if you guys use ClickFunnels or not. I just use ClickFunnels for some things. I actually have my own CRM that builds out funnels as well. And I'm actually going to be getting rid of ClickFunnels, but I'll show you, like, I like listings to leads, but I wish it was more like what I'm about to show you.
Okay.
A little bit more customizable as far as where you're progressing them through.
That, yeah, and very the least amount of distractions as possible. So it's this one here. So this was one of my last listings that I decided to run some marketing to, right? And so this is the house here. Get an exclusive first look, right? So they can hit show me the listing here, and it would pop up. Give me your name, phone number, and email. It gives a little bit of the information, the price. It does not give the actual address, right? My phone number. So it's just straight to the point. These buttons don't go anywhere. It just comes back to this page, right? So it's just I don't want to say false advertising, but it is. Then you hit show me listing. Put it in there. And then it would, here, same kind of page, right? Same information, but more in-depth photos. Here's more photos, right? And then they can request a private showing. Here's more about the property. But you notice that there's, other than this down here, there's no other button. So with listings to leads, and I know you can change it, there's like buttons on the side. Are you in foreclosure? Do you want more listings? Do you want this? Like when you're driving somebody to a landing page, you want the one thing you're sending them to, and so it's to get their contact information or get them to request a showing.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this as a test, and I built this out. So I generated leads at $6.50 per lead on here. Of the $6.50, I generated 17 leads. Of the 17 leads, we have three buyers under contract.
Nice.
Not me. I refer them out to agents in my office.
I was unaware of ClickFunnels, so thank you for showing me that.
No, you're welcome. So, okay, tell her.
All right. Any other questions before we let Brett go?
Is this trainings available in the video recording?
Yeah, it's on the closed Facebook group only for you guys. We're not putting it on the public. It's only for you guys, and
Okay.
It'll be available on the Sphere as well.
Okay. And thank you, Jonathan. And Jonathan, I want to say thank you. You always come through with some great information for us, and I appreciate that.
No, you got it, Jackson. Jacob was asking a question, Brett, on service cost, what you offer to realtors, and what any cost of that would be, if you don't mind sharing that.